Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope you guys are doing well.
Hi, you guys. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey there, brother Dave. Hey there, Scratch. I'm never going to live down the noogie thing, am I?
No, let's not let him. Let's have fun with it.
Hey there, brother Mark. Good to see you. And I know a few others are in the house as well. We'll give people a little bit of time to come and join us. And then we'll go into some things. I hope everything is well where you guys are. It's nice temperature. It's about 85, 86, something like that. It's only in the mid-80s, which is fabulous to us.
And there's Miss Akasha Nicole and Grizzly and Queen Star. It's awesome to see you guys.
You know what you gotta do.
Okay. Watch your ears, you guys. Watch your ears, okay? Roar!
There she goes. Champagne Slurpee in the house. Good to see you. Billy Mariquin. Hey there in Texas. Gary Hines. Good to see you as well. Brother Calvin. Buenos tardes. Mi familia. Osboy in the house. Mercy Anonymous. Good to see you.
It's great to see everybody. Wonderful to see everybody. It filled up nice.
It did. Elena over in North Carolina. Hello in Waynesville. God, every time I think about that, I immediately go to thinking of boojums and some pool, and we're dying to play pool. We haven't played pool in like 4 months.
We are. There's Miss Ricky and there's DG and Ham37 and Gary Hines. Hi. Yeah, we do miss playing pool. We were getting to be pretty good there.
Yeah, well.
Mike was he could like clean a whole table. He's pretty good.
We were getting consistent. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you, Ricky, for the kisses in Colorado. And Greg, good to see you as well. Knowledge 2020. Andrew, good evening. True Blue, hello.
It's wonderful to see how many, and the vibe feels really good too.
Yes, Veronica, our sister down there in Arizona. Hope all is well with you too. You guys getting these crazy winds down in southern Arizona? It's been crazy. It has been intense, like shaking the camper and everything. And we got some work done this morning, even in the wind, basically building the final wall to the greenhouse and getting that up in place. Meanwhile, there's gusts that feel like they're hurricane strength.
Well, you got to work through it. There's kind of one way through it, and it's through it.
Mouse is here. All right, now we could get ourselves in gear.
Awesomeness, pure awesomeness, and Scratch and everybody. Hi, you guys.
So, yeah, we're going to cover some messages from LauRel, and we were just going to do another session, and they were saying they were connecting in a different way with Cindy, but she just got like a massive pain that shot through her heart center, and we had to like call it off for right now. And we do have one that we taped earlier, so we do have some that we're going to share with you guys. And a lot of times she can't remember what they say. Sometimes she can't remember the message.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It comes and goes. Like this time they were trying to keep me like partially conscious, but something happened in my heart. They like plugged something in or unplugged something. I'm not sure what. But they are trying different frequencies to get around the whole heart issue.
And hey there, Christine in New Zealand. And do you turn into the wind? Well, the weird thing is it changes constantly. Like I had thought about, we got several thousand earth bags to use. Why don't we just build a wall where the prevailing wind comes from? But that shifts moment to moment. Not even just day to day. It's like moment to moment. It'll be coming out of the due south, and all of a sudden it's coming out of the west. And all of a sudden it's coming out of the northeast. It's like you would just have to box yourself in,
Yeah, I swear they're parking ships up there. That's what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, and then you get these, crazy clouds that they don't look real, and while I'm thinking about that, let me send a photo of a couple that I took so I could share it with you guys, because we swear there were ships up in these things.
Yeah, sometimes I really think that they are parking ships up there with the way the wind blows, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's whipping all around. I mean, that would make sense if they were parking ships. It's like a Grand Central, because we're always seeing sparkles and things of this nature, and it totally feels like a portal. It totally feels like a portal. It's really cool stuff. So, and then, we get these pictures of these clouds that, I mean, it's like, come on, really, you guys could camouflage a little bit better, but you don't. And at least that's how I see it nowadays, being awake and knowing what I know and experiencing what I've experienced. It's hard to deny that it's just camouflage, really. I mean, that's how I see it. But they're, it's beautiful camouflage. I do love the pictures. The clouds are very, very pretty. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're just wild to see, in some of the shapes. And you'll have like massive wind going on and other clouds just like coming and going so fast. And then there'll be these odd shaped ones that really look like they're giant motherships, and they don't move. Everything else is moving like crazy. And last night we saw, one, I don't know what it was. I think it was a ship. Yeah, at first I thought it was a star, and we got new binoculars that you could zoom in on, and it was wild. It was changing. It was like red and blue and what other colors?
It was like a disco ball. It was like everything all over the place, all at the same time. It was really kind of cool to get to see something like that. And the skies are really clear over there most of the time. So, it's a treat. It's a real treat.
So I just sent a few through. Sorry for coughing in your ears, guys. And just sent some through to Gmail. See if they came through. Probably too quick yet. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Well, I was going to share with you some lettuce that has come up from scratch. So it's looking pretty good. It's actually, there's like 3 heads that were probably about edible now, but we'll wait a bit. And some potatoes that are doing really, really well as well. And everybody's been talking about growing stuff. So this is one of those photos, and just the shape of it, and look how it is on the bottom. And this thing stayed just like this on a super, super windy day. This was toward dusk. Over an hour, maybe 2 hours. It didn't really move. And all the other clouds were moving. They were all kind of moving and dissipating. And there was 2 of them. And then it looked like they were tethering. And they were both like the same sort of shape. Isn't that kind of wild? See, all of a sudden then they connected over here, and the one to the other that both had that same kind of shape and kind of concave on the center. It was really odd, To me, it hit me as very odd. We sent some photos out to some of the family there, and they thought it looked kind of unusual as well.
Yeah, they were pretty interesting. So, Miss Cheryl is in the house. That's wonderful. And Ozaduzaman, I hope I got your name right finally. I think I did. Mike gave me a thumbs up. I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, those are just beautiful. And to me, they just look like they're covering a big, beautiful ship. And that could very well be why there's so much wind whipping all over the place. So sometimes it helps to make sense of things when things don't make sense, because everything we see isn't necessarily what it is. Everything's an illusion. It's a grand illusion. And they've been kind of talking to me about that lately.
Yeah, it is a big illusion, and interesting. Well, these are super interesting times. So I did a video just on the first channel on Evolutionary, asking people to go and watch one that I put up on Patreon. and also on Ko-Fi and Pleadian and BitChute, because it was talking very directly in direct language about the things, including, the thing that got the first channel demonetized. So it was something I didn't feel we should, put up on YT, because, it's because of everything that's going on. It's a good chance they'll just simply either take the video down, or they'll just finally take the channel down. And it's been like 3.5 years worth of work to try to build it. And, as you know, it's been demonetized for over a month now. And I know they're not going to monetize it again. So, even though there's no way you make money to keep yourself afloat on Pleadian and BitChute, at least there you could speak, openly, which is a plus, and I see David Icke over there, and he's getting great views. So, more and more people are being forced to go to where they can talk freely. And that's just, part of the times that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's about getting the message out. It's about learning the truth. It's about, stepping into your own power. It's about remembering who you are. And it's going to come from different points of view. It's going to come through different frequencies. So, they can hit as many people as possible to help us all remember who we are and why we're here.
Yeah, and both, BitChute and Pleadian do have their issues. Like BitChute, I had to reload like 3 or 4 videos because they just sit there forever. When I upload a video to either of them, it usually takes 2-3 hours at least for them to process. So, it takes time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes time. And, we try to reach as many people as possible. We just do our absolute best, and not everybody can use the same platform, but hopefully many people can get to the other platforms, as many as possible.
So this recording I have is from my voice recorder, and this was something we did yesterday right after the big swarms were going on, and the swarms are still ongoing. The earth is really shaking. It's about to go through some of the major changes. I think that a lot of people feel like 2021 is going to be a huge year. I mean, this is a massive year right now with what's going down. And I think a lot of things are going to start to really even peak more in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do believe that things are going to ramp up, and it's going to be a little like frog in boiling water, kind of. Oh, Miss Christine, thank you. I enjoy your channel so much. Love from Michigan. Love back to you. Thank you.
Anna's saying that she had a download this morning, space or sky map circular. They were showing me blinking numbers, location, constellation, but more as timer at the same time. And she's going to request confirmation. So yeah, it's wild. I mean, the stars will communicate with you if you send your intention out to them to do so. That's something they will, because they're alive. These are still beings. And I kind of view the stars, as like the true Elohim when you look at it. Those are very, very high level beings, very, very high density consciousnesses up there, and there's a lot we could learn from them. It's fascinating when you look at the mythology as well, and why do the gods act the way they do? They act very human. Mm-hmm. Well, there seems to be a lot of humanoid races out there as well. As we talk about the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, there's so many different species of life out there. It's just abundant, and like with the new, we have they're Sky Masters, and they're 25 times amplification as far as your viewing, and 70 millimeter lenses, so you can see a lot. You look at one little patch of the sky, one tiny little patch, and it's teeming with stars. So there's so much life out there, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, there is. There really is. There's so much data out there, and what we are, we're processors of that data. So, it comes through all of us, and then we all interpret it a certain way.
So what we'll do is I'll start playing this for you, and this might be a little bit faint, but I hope you could hear it. I'm going to put it right up to the mic.
Yes, it was an eventful day. The earthquakes. It's just a massive swarm of earthquakes going on right now. Is that natural or man-made?
This is the earth realigning. There are things going on that are natural and man-made. It's a process of alignment, and it's happening on your planet, other planets, and to the people of your planet. It is not to be feared, it is to be embraced.
There is so much going on with the talk of the plague that's upon the land, and so many things, including the military being there to help enforce inoculations.
They're going to try to push forward this agenda. It is a matter of raising vibrations to hold on to your sovereignty. They will get the ones that are asleep, the ones that don't understand what's happening. They will get these first, voluntarily. Others have time to raise their vibration and hold a high vibration to avoid any vaccinations. But this is all to keep you in a state of fear.
Will the inoculations do anything to inhibit the ascension?
The inoculations can cause problems indeed. We do recommend that you put your body in a state of detox and hold it there. Many people are saying there's going to be chips. We are anticipating to avoid this through raising consciousness, raising the vibration.
And when you say that, do you mean that anything implanted into us wouldn't function, or do you mean that we would actually shift into a different density out of their reach?
There's a bypass switch. If you are of a higher vibration, these will not function properly. There's a way around everything. There's a way to avoid everything. Primarily, these ideas have to come from a higher mind.
Is the purpose of the chips tracking, or actually modifying personal behaviors, controlling the person?
They wish to do both. They wish to control on all levels.
So in effect, to basically turn us into just biological robots to be used by them.
Indeed. But we cannot have the people in a state of fear. They must be higher minded. We don't want people focusing on this. We need people to focus on their roles, why they came here, their voluntary positions.
How do we best confront the powers that be?
Through your voice, doing exactly what you're doing now.
Uncovering, exposing.
Uncovering, exposing, talking, in many cases, calling on your government, letting your voice be heard. These things will make a difference.
Waking up perhaps enough people in the police and the military so that they'll stand up and just say no.
This is part of your role. Yes, you've been given a voice to do this. It is part of your role, part of your mission to continue to help people find their own voice, their own individual way to go about things.
How do we do this in a peaceful manner?
Simply by talking about it and explaining to people, reminding them who they are, why they came here, their mission, what their job is. We have been talking to the vessel about bridges. Bridges are the ones that are in the cities. They are going to be the ones who have the brunt of the job. They will be shuffling people from asleep to awake. These people themselves are half asleep, half awake. It's in their programming to be this way. It's just the way they are.
Bridges. So, again, it's all about awakening the mass consciousness to a point where they can no longer move forward with their plans, basically.
Indeed, and this must be done without putting people in a state of fear. It's the fear is what is going to cause the slowdown of ascension.
And if we were to mass awaken and have a change in consciousness, I truly feel like we can mitigate so much of the damage from the changes that are happening in the earth.
Indeed, the energies can be changed. They can be manipulated through thought, through meditation, even diet, simple things, exercise. These have not been explained well to your people about the importance of the food they put in their mouth. It lowers their vibration, it lowers their density, and it will take longer for ascension to occur.
Many people have rashes and have strange things going on with their bodies. Is this their bodies trying to fight off the nanotechnology?
This is a mixture of things. This is the nano dust. This is also ascension. It's purging. Many things that are painful that were in the energy body are being purged, and this can irritate the 3D body. Through rashes, through nausea, through headaches, through anxiety. You are purging.
We had heard of the U.S. government making a pact with the Greys back in the 40s with Eisenhower. Is this true?
It's true.
And was that basically a pact with the Greys, and what other groups behind the Greys?
The Draco are always in on everything.
So that was the U.S. government and the Draco. And President Trump, is he under control of the Draco?
Indeed, he is under complete control. With all fairness, we must explain that he does wish to do the right thing, but he cannot. It's up to each individual person to take charge of their body. This is about individuality and collective behavior.
So did he go into presidential office with the intention that he was going to really make change, and then just found that he really couldn't do it?
Yes.
And this is also who the banking cabal works for? Or do they work for some different entities?
Indeed, the lines feel and seem blurred, but it all comes to the same point of the Draco controlling everything.
So when we see in the Bible, for instance, and we talk about the day of the Lord, what is that referencing? Is that referencing the Draco in an all-out military might, or is that referencing some return of certain Anunnaki groups?
This is referencing the Draco and their technology. They will come on your planet and use technologies to persuade people in believing that they're going to be saved.
And when we talk about certain beings like Enki and Enlil, they're different than the Draco, or they are the Draco as well? Are they Draco controlled, or are they separate from the Draco?
They are Draco controlled. Again, more lines being blurred. Ultimately, it is the Draco. They work as one, but also through many rays of influence and control. They spread themselves out far and wide. The only way to get through this is through higher minds and ascension.
It seems that so many things have been blurred purposefully. So when we are talking about, say, an entity like Isis, are we talking about Draco again? Or are we talking about something totally different?
No, she is Galactic Federation. She is good. Her influence is needed. Her influence is upon you. She does not inhabit this planet.
Are you okay? Is the vessel okay? Okay, we will wake the vessel and continue at a different time. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Namaste.
So that was it. You know, it seems like after about 10, 12 minutes, it gets really, really tough on Cindy physically. So that's where that one stopped from.
Yeah, I think maybe because I can get information the other way too. Just when Mike is talking to me and asking me questions, I can retrieve it. So, because I don't know, like today I went in and then something yanked in my heart. It hurt and I had to jerk right back out. It was kind of weird, but we can still get information just differently.
And, you know, it's always when there's certain subjects that it gets tougher on her. You know, especially when we start talking about the Draco, it just seems like then all of a sudden, you know, a lot of times there could be an actual physical attack where you feel pain, you feel anxiety, you feel nausea, you just feel like you get hit with this energetic wave, like a blast. And, you know, we've been out there in the desert in certain areas and seen some things that looked really curious. And then all of a sudden we'll get that wave of that energy where it's telling us to back off and don't go in that area.
It does. So, you know, it's like certain topics come up. And I think these beings are so extremely advanced, you know, as far as technology is concerned, that they can screw with the channels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're very advanced as far as their technology, extremely advanced. But, you know, where we have it over them is, well, in a lot of ways, you know, just like our connection to source, they could only go so far and they're stuck, you know, and it's just a dead end for them, you know, where we could definitely ascend up and beyond where they are.
Aw, you guys are so sweet in there. Thank you so much. Because it's, you know, it's something that if I can bring information, I want to do it, you know, and I'm glad to see a positive response because I'm really shy as it is, you know, but I just feel like this is something that I'm supposed to do. I think there's a lot of us out there that are supposed to be doing it, and the information can come just pouring in from many different directions right now to help us out.
So Jumper says, why don't they show themselves? Well, they're on a different density for one. Number two is they respect free will. So I mean, you can see them. We have seen their ships. We have seen energies manifest. It depends on the individual. Depends on where you are at spiritually, and in your journey. That's the difference with the benevolent ones. They won't ever force themselves on us because they feel that everything has free will, should be allowed to develop at its own pace. And when you have things out there like the Draco and the Greys that work for them, of which like, are you okay with sharing about yesterday? Oh, or no? Okay. So, they still try to get her, and, for some reason, they haven't been able to, well, they can't get her when she's with me, even though they try. And so, yesterday, when Cindy was starting to doze off, all of a sudden, she was finding herself on a ship with 8 Greys.
Yeah, it was disgusting. They're all looking down at me. And the thing is, if Mike wasn't there to wake me up, they would do what they want to do. I don't quite understand how they still get to me, but it is some sort of an astral thing. And we don't always, seems like we don't always have control of that. But, that's why I just... sometimes it's been a lot worse, and I haven't had this happen in a long time the way that it did, but I feel like if someone's not there to wake you up, then they just do whatever the heck they want. They're very mechanical.
And that's the point, because like I asked you, I said, you said you could kind of read their thoughts. Yeah. But you also said they're not really alive. They're more like androids.
They're being given information to do, like a hive mind. So they're being given they're being given orders, and they're following orders. That's what they do.
Yeah, so they were, grabbing her astrally until I pulled her back in, and I've shared with you guys, they did terrorize my kids growing up. They both saw the Greys come into the room and paralyze them, and go to take them away and do things on them. And my last encounter with a Grey, I've never really had the encounters with the small Greys. I had an encounter with what we will call an Eben, which looks a little bit different than the Grey and is actually a live being. There are live Greys too. And there are Greys of different heights, and December 2017, I woke because I felt something go into my lower dantian, which is like 2 inches below your belly button. That's your energy reservoir for your Jing, which is your life force. That's a more physical life force, and more all about the physical body. The middle dantian is all about the emotional body. The upper is all about the spiritual body. But this being, this tall Grey, which the tall Greys, this was 8 or 9 feet tall, and it had 3 fingers, extremely long arms. Its forearms were as long as my entire arms, and its hands were as long as my forearm. But it basically, I could feel it going inside my energy body. And I woke up, and it was super surprised that I woke up, and it saw that I could see it, and then it felt like it was panicking. It looked away and was really focusing hard, and it slowly was just like Star Trek getting beamed up. It slowly just broke down into a fuzzy energy pattern, very much like when the TV's got nothing but snow. It broke down into that, but I got to watch it for, I would say, 90 seconds and really analyze it. I got a really clear look at this thing. So that was the last time any of them directly had anything to do with me. Although they've been following us all the time, and I'll feel them, or I'll see an energy pattern from a distance, and Cindy's seen them following us too.
Yeah, it's just something that they do. And I feel like the more awake we become, the more we're going to experience this. And of course, there's going to be pushback and people, that are just going to call you crazy and blow you off and, be negative. But that's the game that they've played all along. That's the game they've always played, is try to just make people think they're crazy and then they'll go away. But the thing is that's how they gain control, is that mentality.
Yeah, so it's a real war on humanity, and as we know, the powers that be on this planet, are basically under their control, and that's the bottom line. So they're really working for them. They're not really working for us. They're working for them. And, the benevolent ones, they respect our free will, so they don't interfere directly. But they are doing their own battles, as we have said, and we've asked them before. So they are basically locked up in a battle right now as we speak, and on other densities.
Yeah, different densities. So we don't really exactly know what's going on. I have been getting visions of them showing me like a disconnect between us and them. And when I say them, I believe the higher density beings. There's a certain disconnect, and it's all about our free will, and it's about our choice. And there's a way out. There's definitely a way out of here, but it's just going to take a lot of strength, a lot of ambition, a lot of desire, a lot of love, a lot of compassion and understanding, and trust. Follow your heart. There's things that we can do. There's definitely things that we can do so that we can help raise the consciousness and move up and above this thing that's happening to us right now.
Yeah, this is a massive change in consciousness at this time that's going on, and this is most definitely Everett wants to hear another roar. Here we go.
Okay, watch your ears, roar!
There you go. Hopefully that was not too terrifying out there, guys.
I always worry about you guys' ears. I do. I can't help it. You're like my kids. I love you.
So yeah, it is. It's most definitely about frequency, and you could see it like I would share with you guys, like on YouTube. If you look at certain channels, and this is why it's like I try to steer clear about talking about certain things, but then it didn't feel right to not talk about certain things either. And it's tough to do it in a gentle way. Like, how do you tell somebody that like, how would you tell? Okay, so let's say if you had a time machine, right? And you were able to go back to 1933, right? And Adolf Hitler is rising to power. And you were able to go back there, and so many people are supporting him. And you're trying to dissuade them in some way, to wake them up and say, look, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen, but how do you do that in a nice, gentle way, where you
get called just crazy and thrown out?
Yeah, exactly. And say, oh, you know what? There's going to be like over 20 million people killed in the next, 8, 9 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be just an atrocious genocide. But people would be like, oh, no, he's doing good for us. He's, bringing about positive change.
Yeah, and that's probably like the best parallel or the best analogy I've ever heard that being put that way, being in a time machine, going back and trying to explain to people that what's going to happen, you've seen what's going to happen, and then not get just tossed in jail. So, being kind and respectful to others that have seen things and that understand things that you don't see or understand is I mean, that's just the right thing to do, because you don't know what you don't know. And I guess until you do know, try to remain open-minded. Try to remain with your heart open. And when in doubt, be kind. Just be nice.
Exactly. But you can't. I mean, you could try to sugarcoat things. You could try to make it as gentle and as easy as possible. But at the same time, you got to wake people up. Because, in Nazi Germany, one of the first things that happened was book burnings. Getting rid of opposing viewpoints. Do you think we see that going on right now?
Right. I mean, they're just trying to throw anybody who might be able to see through the veil. They're just trying to throw them in the river and get rid of them as quick as possible.
Exactly. And what we have going on right now is to me, it looks like the exact same thing, but on a global scale. So we have to be aware of that. And we've just gone through the beginning of what they're already talking about, one or two more waves of coming in. What's that going to look like? And if we are really sitting in 1933, which it does feel like all over again, we have to hold high to our vibes and keep that bigger purpose in mind of waking up as many as possible. Because if we can wake up enough to where they cannot do it, that's it. That's the goal. And whether it takes petitions or people out in the streets voicing their will, which is being, like you were saying about the symbolism between those that have to put something in front of their mouth and those that just walk around and defiantly don't put anything in their mouth, in front of their mouth. It's about being heard. And so in a sense, it's like we're being told to just shut up. And really, it's like we've been told to just shut up for like the last year. And, we see it through the censorship. We see it through everything, Facebook, which, I just got rid of, and it was painful to get rid of it, but it's Big Brother. And so, it's one of their tools. Little things like turning off location services, and as we were saying, we're going to ditch one phone. We might ditch both phones and just have burners. Just get one burner, share one burner phone, and that's it. Because we have to recognize that, they're completely taking away all of our freedoms right now. And it's very serious.
It is. And it's just going to get thicker and thicker, too. And they've been telling me about people needing to step into their power, needing to recognize who they are. Just a lot about bridges, a lot about these folks that volunteered to come and be in the thick of it, like in the cities, and be half asleep and half awake, and leading people across to awakening. And that's where it's at. These bridges are extremely important. Whatever you are, whatever you think you are, whatever you feel your position is, now is the time to embrace that. And maybe I was sent here to bring forth messages, and I'm starting to step into that. And as scary as it is, I'm going to do it. I love you guys. And I think all of us together, all of our energies together, we can bring about positive change. Is it going to be easy? Heck no. No, it's not. It's going to be difficult and scary at times. But, we came here to do this.
Exactly. This is what we are here for. And it's to wake people up and change consciousness. And you could do it in many ways. And we spend, at least an hour every day in meditation and doing our mantras, which are like prayers, as well. There's something that really sends a good frequency out into the universe. And so this is something we do on an everyday basis in our QiGong too. So, It's just part of our life and our being. And if we ever miss a day of mantras and meditation, I feel really off. I mean, I feel like, wow, I need this, you know?
Yeah, and Nicole says interesting term, bridges. Yeah, that's the vibe that I get. That's the name that I get. And there's more too. There's like transmuters, something, and transponders. I'm not even sure what a transponder is, but there's those and transmuters. There's the bridges, there's the messengers, there's, maybe I should write it down, like all the different things that they're giving me about people needing to understand who they are and their purposes. But ultimately, we already know deep inside, we already know exactly what we are.
And, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And, I have a video in mind that I want to do in the next day or two. Getting more into depth about like why, when we see all these mythologies about the gods, why are they so human? When they are supposed to be such a higher being, and exactly who are they? And then there's some mantras I wanted to share with you as well, about which also shows how we can take the qualities into us and change us to lift us up into our higher self. The person that we truly are at the core.
Yeah, and Shelley's asking, is Q for real? I
don't think so.
I think that if it serves you to get to a higher purpose, then Q is real. Otherwise, I don't see a lot of good in it.
I feel like it's been kind of a disinfo campaign to keep people putting their trust. See, this is part of it. This is a huge part, right? It's all about, we have to do something. We have to, we have to make the change. We have to actually act. We have to send this signal out that we're not going along for the ride. So think about it. If you're just putting all your eggs in one basket, such as waiting for the second coming, if you're just going to say, well, I got to leave it up to Jesus to take care of it when he comes back, well, then you're not going to do anything. So inaction is what they want. They don't want you taking action. They don't want you finding your own power. They always want you looking and giving your power away, or putting your trust in somebody else besides yourself and besides all of us. We have to actually act ourselves. It's up to us to be the change. I think it's Rex, right? Rex always says,
be the change you want to see.
Yeah, be the change you want to see. That's exactly it. We have to be the change. If we keep waiting, another 2,000 years for, our Savior to come and set everything straight, that's what it's not what it's about. It's up to us to take action. And, the kingdom of heaven lies within us right now. It's just a matter of manifesting that instead of this dystopian world that we see, that is so destructive to all the life on it.
Yeah, it's going to be up to us. We got to dig deep. We got to find our core. We got to be strong and take care of ourselves, take care of ourselves emotionally, on every level. As I say, emotionally, I'm looking at the time, it says 4:44. So I'm going to take that as a confirmation that our emotional status is imperative, because we get back what we put out vibrationally. So taking care of those emotions and what's lingering deep inside of you is really, really important right now.
Yeah, A Course in Miracles was wonderful. I think I don't know, was it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when I first read it. And it's great stuff. It is really, really good stuff. It's all about the power that's within, and if you want to go back to like other series and that we could look at, there's so many of them out there. I know people were mentioning Barbara Marciniak. Her initial 3 books I thought were fabulous, and I almost felt like I was writing notes to myself to try to wake up. It resonated so much with me, It was just incredible. Mark's talking about Bob Lazar. There's so many people out there that have been insiders that have given us a lot of the truth. Phil Schneider, who met a horrible death, speaking about the truth and having somebody shoot him in the shoulder, and then eventually they got to him. And there's been so many others too that they have quieted, such as Behold the Pale Horse, William Cooper. Again, I mean, he talked all about 911, and he said 1 month before it happened that's about to happen, and then 1 month after he's no longer with us. So there's so many out there. The problem is that I think that there are those that, because they have a certain level of ego, and because they do like a certain lifestyle, they do like perhaps, nice big houses, cathedral ceilings, nice cars, all the trappings of this world, that when they're threatened, that they might no longer be walking in this world unless they, change their tune slightly, that they give in, and then you could tell when somebody's given in or sold out. You could put it down that they sold out in some sense, because things start to change a little bit, and they tend to, instead of taking a step back and recognizing that all sides are really under control of these powers, as when Cindy was channeling, it all keeps coming down to the Draco on this planet right now. Well, they'll actually say somebody is really fighting for the good, and they might actually even start to believe in Q and all. And it did feel like maybe the first parts of Q were actually somewhat legit, but then it quickly got snuffed out, and you could just tell that it was just a psyop. But that's what happens too, because a lot of times there are things that are legit, and then the Draco control team swoops in and snuffs it, and then starts to twist it and use it for its advantage.
They do, and it's the technology that they have. And Source is far above technology, but they're on a different level of technology that is like really superior, and they do use that on many different ways. They just do, and that's how they stay in control. But one thing that their technology doesn't have that source spark. It doesn't have that soul, and that's where we have that soul essence in us. We do have the ability to tap into our heart chakra and just know at like a very primal level what is right and what is wrong, that gut instinct. And some people, they have the egos, and they can't let it go, and that's okay. You got to take everyone into consideration. Maybe that's where they're at on their path, but we're trying to get to a higher place.
Nicole.
Miss Nicole, Cindy, have you ever thought about remote? Oh yeah. Yeah, we do.
And actually, we have. So, and that's what they don't like. So Nicole says, have you thought about remote viewing? And we've kind of done it together, and when we've been out there and very close to Area 51, and just like Cindy will sense the Dracos on their patrol, and we could peek in on them, and they could peek in on us. And so that's something we both can do. I've done it too, going back like probably 25 years, and it's worked. It's worked amazingly. Part of what I've shared with you guys, I spent a lot of time in meditation, QiGong, and the Eastern ways, but I've also dabbled in the Western ways. I've done my own experiments with the Western mystery tradition. I've studied the Golden Dawn. I've done some of their rituals, as well as other systems. I went through, after I broke out of the fundamentalist group that I was kind of entrenched in my late teens. Then I jumped into a Wiccan circle and took part with a lot of that as well, and different energies. And then eventually started to study the works of like Phil Hine and others in the chaos magic realm. And so I've dabbled with that. There's a lot of things we can do. There's so much power inside of us, tremendous power inside of us. And many of us don't even realize when we're creating our own egregores subconsciously. And so if you guys aren't familiar about that, it's basically we can actually create beings. You could create a being made out of pure life force that will patrol your property for you, that you could use, to go and send on a mission. I was experimenting with a friend who was doing the same thing. And so one time I sent an energy ball to him just to get his attention. We agreed that we're going to do an experiment. And I asked him, he called me and he said, did you just send something my way? And I said, why? What happened? And he said, well, because his son's little remote control car turned on, went across the floor and hit him right in the foot. And he said, the weird thing is I opened it up and there was no batteries inside. And so that was basically just using the life force. Yeah, we could do an awful lot. That's one of the things that my guides have showed me. And they showed me when I was in fifth grade, a lot of things.
Yeah, they do. As far as remote viewing, there's times where I've just stopped and looked at the underground, the dumbs, and I can see it down there. They have lights down there. They have streets down there. They have vehicles down there. It's very busy with great big like air holes. There's a lot of air running through there. It's noisy. I think the best way I can explain it is maybe being at a park at nighttime. How they have those big lights. It's like that all over the place under there.
So yeah, we've had a peek down inside. And they sense it. They definitely can sense it. The entities can sense it. And, but it's fun to peek in on them too.
Yeah, they can. And then there's been times where I've been cut off too, because like I'll get a picture and then all of a sudden my picture will just sort of fade away and I'll get this blank screen. So, that's their first clue to you've been spotting them.
Yeah, and the thing is that we are waking up in masses. So every one of you guys out there, whatever abilities you had 10 years ago have amplified tremendously now. And every month that goes by, your abilities are going to increase. So when you start to take up practices like this, you could, practice remote viewing. Set up a target and go and do it. Practice your QiGong and your mantras, willingly and knowingly take the life force into you through your breathing practice and through conscious intention. Store it in your body, and it will definitely help boost your immune system. And what Asa Duzaman just said, nothing is hidden then. That's why they're doing this now. Because we're all going to know soon if they let it go too long.
Yeah, I mean, our energy bodies are definitely getting thicker. They're making new tools for biotuning because our energy bodies are getting thicker. And that tells me that we're definitely purging, or the light is coming in and it's making, it's just making the 10 inches around our bodies, it's far denser. So they do have new tuning forks that'll cut through certain traumas a lot better and faster than the other ones. They all still work. It was just taking a lot more effort.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us for this live. It was a lot of fun. And, do put out suggestions as to what topics, you guys want to hear. And we'll go that route, because a lot of times, honestly, I just get stuck in a certain mode and there's something in my head, going, and then I'll just be like zoned in. And, like remote viewing. I don't think we've ever done.
We should do a show on remote viewing.
Yeah, I've never done a show on remote viewing, and it's like, why haven't I? Why haven't we talked about this?
I think you guys, what do you think? We pick something, or you guys leave it in the comments as something you want us to remote view, and we'll do it live.
Can you do a tuning?
Cindy's
going to do a tuning before we go, guys. So we'll send you out some positive healing vibes and some vibes to lift us up. And, distance energy work is incredible. And, what we're seeing with our clients now is just amazing. So we can heal each other faster and faster every day. And again, this is why there's such a full court press on us right now, because our abilities are just growing exponentially right now. So here you go, guys.
Okay, try to think of your healthiest self right now and put your healthiest self or situation or whatever you want in your mind's eye and hold that thought.
So as always, guys, God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.